All right, everybody, welcome back to Movie Talks Chill. We're your hosts. I am Tony Serrato.
I am Gavin Butts.
I am Patrick Wall, and I am alive this week.
He is alive this week, and he's still 40. He's in his 40th year now.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
he
in
is-
my 40s now.
He is
Yes.
now in.
Yes.
I remember I was at courtside on Friday and Reed, and I was like, this is your future, because I'm like 3 months older than him. I was like, look at me. This is you in September.
And then he shot himself.
Yeah, he was not happy with that.
Yes. Then Reed went home and just passed out on the couch with the tequila.
Actually, he's just like, I'm better than you, and walked away.
Yeah, well, he says that to everybody. So
Oh, trust me, I didn't take it personally.
So I do have a topic in mind, but Patrick here
Ooh, yes.
wants his few minutes of fame. So
I don't know if I would say fame.
We'll let him have his moment of fame and glory.
we're not giving him 15. We settled on 10.
Yes.
Yeah, I asked for 15, I got 10. You know what? I'm not arguing it. Basically, I saw...
And moving on. Thank you for joining in. Sorry,
That's 10
sorry,
minutes.
sorry. I had to do it.
Fair enough, I would have done the same thing.
We said seconds, not minutes.
Yeah, right.
Well, you said minutes, but cross your fingers
That's
behind
a
your
big
back.
distinction in the bedroom. I got mine. You better get yours.
Ain't my problem. But no, I've recently watched 2 movies, and I just wanted to talk about them. One of them was in theaters. I don't think it is now anymore, but it's called Ballerina. It's the John Wick spinoff. I just wanted to, I have this platform. It's like, it's actually pretty good. I liked it. There are really good action sequences, and then there are a couple of not as good, probably a little sloppy, and I'm still trying to figure out, it's like, because in the fiction, the woman who's playing the assassin is considerably younger than John Wick, so she hasn't been doing it as long, so I think it may have been a directorial choice, like, she's not going to be as good as John Wick, which kind of makes sense. We're not doing a deep dive, and so I don't want to spoil a whole lot of the movie. But I will say, John Wick does make a cameo, and he does get like a full scene of him being John Wick, which is nice. I liked it.
So where in the time frame does it fall?
So
Do they
that's-
say?
No, and you kind of have to piece it together, and it kind of doesn't make sense. Like, once again, I really don't want to spoil anything, and talking about this
Right.
would spoil a few things. But it's a little bit of spoiler, but not really. The first cameo you get of John Wick is when he's at the Rosca Roma getting his ticket punched, where they sear the cross onto his back. So it takes place during John Wick 3. But after that kind of falls apart a little bit. So I want to say it's definitely before 4, but I think it's after 3 and before 4.
Okay.
But there is a scene like this, continuity-wise, does not make sense. Mainly because they don't really explore the lore that much in Ballerina, and all the lore you do learn in John Wick, it's probably not meshing well just because they're not explaining it as much. But it's a really good action movie. Highly recommend. There should be a sequel. I'm looking forward to it. This one's a medium spoiler. I got real Hot Fuzz vibes in the third act, which I didn't mind. I love Hot Fuzz, but you can kind of see the inspiration in those scenes.
Okay.
So yeah, Ballerina. If you haven't seen it, it'll be streaming sooner or later. I would highly recommend that you watch this movie. It's really good, especially if you like John Wick. It's amazing.
All right.
All right.
And the other movie, I'm going to preface this with saying I'm 20 minutes from finishing the film, because it's on Amazon, and they have...
You didn't even finish it.
I'm at the good parts. I'm going to tell you.
You
I'm
didn't
watching
even finish it.
The Man with the Screaming Brain. Have you ever heard of this movie?
Man with the screaming brain. No.
Yep. So it's written, directed, and stars Bruce Campbell. It's a huge flop, apparently.
Ah.
But it's a B movie where he got more money than he normally does for a B movie because there's actual CGI. His dead wife gets put into a robot. His taxi cab driver's brain gets put into his in Bulgaria. This movie is
Isn't that
bonkers.
where you go to get cancer?
Yeah, right?
This movie is absolute bonkers, and I'm all here for it. But like I said, so Bruce Campbell is killed by a serial killer in Bulgaria, and the cab driver is her ex-fiance, and she gets a little pissed and kills him, and a mad scientist, and his assistant, who is played by Ted Raimi. Somehow, I wonder why Ted Raimi got a part in this film. He figures out a way to get rid of the amputation rejection syndrome when you like it's a foreign body and like
Your body tries to attack it. Yeah.
yeah. The transplant syndrome. But he figures out a way to get rid of that, so he does it with a brain. It's bonkers. It's absolutely wonderful.
You know, the brain controls the mind.
Yeah.
Well, they actually get a
brain is
little
the
bit of the
mind.
science right because they replace his right lobe so with the taxi cab driver, so he's controlling the left hand, and that's not how it normally works. Like the right hemisphere controls
Yeah.
the left side. But the dead wife who asked for a divorce 2 scenes before, she finds the woman who somehow in a country she's never been to and she does not speak Russian, she finds the serial killer faster than any cop, and she throws her down the stairs to kill her. But you can see clearly this woman, and then when she gets pushed down the stairs, it's clearly a doll, just like ragdolling. And then she gets to the landing and she stands up. She's like, oh! And then once again, the mannequin is just tumbling down the stairwell. And then she
You
gets,
mean real people bodies don't flop
Yeah.
stiff?
No.
and then the mad scientist, finds her and then puts her brain in a robot, and then she starts going on a murderous rampage. Like she bitch slaps the doctor to get out of the gurney or whatever. It's hilarious.
What part of the brain screams though?
So
When's screaming coming into play? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
so
actually
when Bruce
the main-
Campbell has another mind inside his head, so that's the one that's constantly screaming. Like,
Yeah.
no, we're not drinking scotch, we're drinking vodka.
Okay.
Like, no, we need food and clothing. Bruce
So
Campbell like
so
puts,
it's like Voices
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds.
yeah. I like that movie.
this is a classically bad
Is
film.
the dog constantly giving him shit?
No, the dog was the good one.
Oh, that's right.
The
The dog,
cat
it
was
was
the
the cat
one.
was the one. Yeah, that's right. Well, cats are assholes.
Oh, I know, I own one.
Yeah.
This is a classically bad movie. I'm towards the end. I've like 1 or 2 scenes left. I cannot wait to finish to see what happens. This is going to be amazing
So why didn't you finish it?
because I had to come here.
It's not like he had 7 days.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not like I don't have a job.
He's like,
Still 7
I'm
days.
gonna begin to watch a movie, not
Get
go through
excited
all the
about
way,
it. Yeah.
talk about it, and not be able to tell you what the ending is.
Even if I knew the ending, I wouldn't want to spoil it. It's from 1997. People out there may not have seen it.
Yes,
A lot of people probably didn't
there
see
are
it.
people in caves.
Did you? You didn't even know about this movie.
I will.
I didn't know. Yeah, I haven't seen every Bruce Campbell movie. Have you ever seen Bubba Hotep?
Heard of it, never seen it.
Okay.
I will say, and this is a story about someone we all know.
Patrick?
No, she.
Oh.
Anyway, so I got her watching Infinity War. We finished that, and then before she had to go in and work courtside, we started watching Endgame, and we got, I don't know, like maybe a third into it. And I remember showing up there, and I'm sitting out there with you, and we're kind of talking about it. She's like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up! I don't want to know the end of it." And then when she comes back the next couple of days or whatever, she gets mad at you because finally
yeah, 'cause
finds
of the
out that
sadness,
Tony.
yeah.
She's like, "Why did you set me up for that?" And then you're like, "Why don't you look at him? He lives with you, yeah, but I can yell at you."
What did I do?
I know she's like all mad at Tony.
I remember that story.
Pretty common
It's like-
theme in my life.
It's like you set me up. You let me get attached.
We all got attached, goddammit.
Yeah, I know. It's like you felt what we all felt. You got it sooner though. We had to wait a fucking year for that.
Yeah, you were able to get it right away.
Yeah, you had
Pain
that
strikes
instant gratification.
instantly. Yes, well, people have tendency to get mad at me for irrational reasons, for things that I have no control over because, I am running Disney, the MCU.
I know,
I know.
else,
got-
and I wrote the script.
You got
Clearly.
Mitch Bell and Kevin Feige on the phone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're actually in the room right now listening.
Damn it.
Oh no, they should not be doing that. But yes, those are the 2 movies I wanted to talk about. If you, The Man with the Screaming Brain is on Amazon, at least here in the States. Our international viewers, It's probably still on Amazon, but I know Netflix works differently in most other countries.
So I wonder, and if they have this, I'm sure that there's some think tank thinking about it. Like, who would you think would be able to play young John Wick? Like him, not as badass as he is right now. Maybe he just gets his ass kicked for the whole movie, and then finally
So
at
like
the end,
Bob Odenkirk from Nobody. So like he still wins, but he gets the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Well, I know who.
Well,
now, because, I mean, technically, this guy he's still younger. So we're talking about young. Cause
Well, yeah,
when you Keanu Reeves now?
when you
about,
get
what?
to him,
like
when you get
almost
to
60,
him,
I think.
I would say he's probably roughly middle age, maybe late 30s, maybe early 40s, because he's got the wife, they were settling down. That's why he wanted.
So
to
we're
get out
talking
of the game.
about late 20s, early 30s.
I'm talking like early 20s, like he just gets into the game,
'Cause the
I'm
initial
thinking
person-
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh no, I'm thinking the guy from The Amateur.
I was actually thinking Dennis Quaid's son.
Dennis Quaid Jr.
No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't remember his first name off the top of my head. He was the one that played Huey in The Boys.
Yeah.
He just played the movie Novocaine. He
Uh,
kind of has that
yeah.
where he can be bad, but at the same time he's got that innocent goofiness
Yeah.
where he's trying to learn it.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'm not saying he looks
Jack
like
Quaid.
Jack Quaid, yeah.
Jack Quaid.
I think
Oh, yeah.
he could play a younger version, like
Well,
in
he's-
the process of
I
learning
could
it
see
all.
it.
I mean,
Okay.
not saying he looks like him.
No.
If we're talking about looks, I don't know.
Well, see,
I'm
so the reason I'm thinking Chalamet is because of his actions, or the action sequence that he can do in Dune. Like that would not be a hard transition in training
And he
to
does-
get back.
And he does have that stoic talk, like 3-word sentences.
Exactly. Like you don't need an animated character to be young John, or maybe he is animated, and then when he goes through all that shit,
When his wife
that's-
dies, yeah.
No. Before this is like before all that. Like when he goes through all that shit, maybe that's when because as they talk about Baba Yaga beforehand, like you just get this stone cold killer vibe. Like so maybe when he's younger and starting out, he was happy. He was he joked around, and then something happened to where the switch flipped, and he just focused on Stone Cold Killer. And then when he met his wife, that's when everything opened up. And you don't even really need that till the very end of the story, maybe. Like they bump into each other, and he just held on to that or something.
No, I'm thinking the guy from The Amateur.
Call us. We're working on the script right
Let
now.
us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Call us legendary. Don't be a
Sorry,
coward.
I didn't mean to steal
No,
more.
no.
of
Hey, I
Patrick's
brought up
time.
John Wick.
He brought up John Wick.
Yes, you did.
I'm not ashamed of it.
A fucking pencil.
The Joker's got the best pencil scene.
Yes, he does.
Heath
Yes,
Ledger's
he
Joker
does.
has the
They,
best pencil scene.
I'm sorry. They stole that from the Joker.
Yeah.
I will make this disappear. Ta-da!
Well, now I'm sad because I'm thinking about Heath Ledger.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, don't get sad.
Well, it's your fault.
Well, I know. Again, irrational blaming.
Damn it! Why did
Irrational
you?
blaming.
Why did you not help Heath Ledger?
Yeah, now I gotta go home and watch A Knight's Tale. Oh, shucks. Yeah, life sucks.
Darn.
Yeah, right. I have to go watch an unbelievably great movie.
Well, on a fun note, they just recently released the full trailer for the new Toxic Avenger movie.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
finally
yes.
going to be a wide release. It came out originally in 2023.
In very select theaters. I
Yeah,
think.
it was basically they were looking for funding to get it fully distributed, and the people that brought you Terrifier 3
Yeah.
are the ones who are going to be
The
distributing.
trailer that you sent us was the most bloodiest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, you haven't seen the original Toxic Avenger then?
I've seen the original one.
Okay, then that's pretty bloody.
Yeah, but not as bloody as that one trailer.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it's like mid or late August when it's coming out. So I will definitely be going to see that.
I might actually go to see that one because I do
Yeah.
like the original Toxic Avenger, and I know Trauma Team is involved, and Peter Dinklage is just an amazing actor.
Yeah, you got Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood,
Yep,
all of them. There's a lot of people in that movie. So stay tuned on that one.
we may do a full episode on it.
Yeah, we should go see that and then do a review.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that.
If it's anything like the first one, it's going to be blood and boobs everywhere.
I think I saw the original Toxic Avenger, but I was very young, and I probably wasn't supposed to be watching it at
Yeah, you weren't
13 or
supposed to be
14.
watching that.
Yeah, you should not have done that.
Maybe that's why I blacked it out. I was like, ooh, boobies,
But the good news is Troma has their own free streaming service
Oh, really?
that you can watch the movie.
Yeah,
on, too.
okay.
I mean, there's plenty of other places too, and I think actually,
Before we go-
I think it's on Plex.
It
I
is.
think
That's
all of
how
them
I
are.
first watched it.
Okay.
You remember the first
For-
episode where Patrick did his homework?
Yeah,
I watched
yeah,
it
yeah.
on there.
Before we go see it,
And then I tried to watch the second one. And that one, he windsurfed to Tokyo. Like,
Yeah.
that just got weird.
Well, it's
See,
supposed to get weirder and weirder. That's
See,
the
I
whole
remember,
point.
I remember Swamp Thing, which I remember that was more of a TV show that was kind of.
That was,
No, that was a movie.
yeah, that
it
was a movie.
Well, I thought they did a movie and then did a show.
They
or
did.
maybe
There
they
was
did-
a show.
They
but
did a TV show. Well, they did a really good TV show. The CW did.
Yeah.
That was like that came out back in like 2020, I think, 2021. That was actually very good.
Okay.
I know
But
the
they
original
canceled
one.
it, like after the first season.
Right,
I was so
okay.
upset.
Well, the first one from the 80s only lasted like 8 episodes or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, they did. Well, because they didn't have.
Well,
the-
it was the.
they didn't have
started.
the special effect.
Yeah.
It started out as the show and then they did a movie, correct?
I thought it was the other way
a
around.
movie and then
It
they
was a
tried a
movie.
show. Okay.
because it was it's a Marvel comic
Yeah.
originally, and then
But it's when their
Wes
dark
Craven
phase.
was the one who did the first movie.
Which is probably why I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I love some Wes Craven.
And he didn't. I don't believe he did the second one, but the second Swamp Thing's not bad. The Return of Swamp Thing.
I never saw it, but I do know of it.
Yeah.
I remember the TV show more than the movie.
Oh, you got to go back and watch the movie. It's good.
It's good.
Good. Boom.
Well, we've wasted enough of Tony's time that what he wanted
Oh,
to
no,
do.
no, no, no.
Hey, I asked for 10. I got 16. High five.
That's because we all got engaged. Shut up.
Yeah.
That
You're
wasn't all
welcome.
you, sir.
Yeah. We're
You're
turning your mic
welcome
off
for being
now.
interesting and charming. And
Oh, whoa. You should have stopped it interesting.
Should have stopped at you're welcome.
We love you, Patrick.
Are you sure?
No.
We're sure we don't.
We have to be positive.
All right, well,
positive.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
Well, what I wanted to ask about, and this came about because I was watching something. It wasn't a movie, but it was a small, short miniseries, and I'm not going to get into it right now because I'll talk about that later. Off of a bunch of other series that this guy does on the Travel Channel, and it made me think. And I don't really think
Jim
we've
Cantrell?
done it. No, don't try to guess. I'm not going to tell you. And I started thinking about it. It's something I don't believe we really talked about, or if we haven't really in depth talked about it too much. And that is when you think of, in movies, iconic vehicles.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of, like, before really, really thinking, like...
First reaction?
First reaction. If you
the
think of
DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Okay. What do you got?
The bat plane from the original Batman.
Okay.
Oh, not the original, but Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Obviously,
Ecto 1.
Yeah.
one of the favorite scenes is, why didn't you tell me he had one of those things?
And he gets
And
fly
that's-
straight up to the moon.
Yeah,
Stop
and then
for a
and that
second.
does the bat signal and then comes back down. Yeah, see, iconic.
It's almost like Tim Burton's a really good director.
Yeah, right? He
you
can
seen-
do more than clay puppets.
Have you seen Coraline? Goddamn masterpiece.
I said he can do more than clay puppets.
But he doesn't have to.
He did Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, he did.
Which is one of the movies that features the Publix logo.
There you go. See
I
that?
remember that, yeah, because
Yeah.
it was filmed out down here.
Lakeland. And
There are
like,
apparently 7. I was in a
places.
meeting a couple of weeks ago where, it was a benefits meeting, and they're like, we're going to make this a little interesting. So who can name the 7 movies that Publix has been in? And I just remember Edward Scissorhands was like, really? I got to go back and rewatch that movie. And the other one that I remember is Cocoon. I was like, oh yeah, that was like an hour south of here
Yeah.
where it was filmed.
It was the old style of Publix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very old style of Publix.
But it's funny, the first one you mentioned, that's actually where I've got the idea. So there's that guy, Josh Gates, that does all those shows like Expedition Unknown. And he's basically like, when it comes to Travel Channel shows, he is like the Guy Fieri of doing like Travel Channel, finding new places or interesting things. Because now he's got like 8 different shows. Like Expedition Unknown was like the original, and Expedition X, Expedition this, Expedition with Josh Gates. Well, he did this short miniseries set. I think it's like 4 to 6 episodes where it's Expedition Unknown, Back to the Future. And it's a random thing. I don't even know why he did it, but he's like traveling. He's like,
God
yeah.
bless the man for doing it.
Yeah, he travels all over the world, and, like, find new places. He'll find like ancient ruins, like he'll search things. So he's like, yeah, we're in the series that begins. He's like in a car. He's like, yeah, so we're on our way to do this, and all of a sudden, this car comes out. It's like not a DeLorean, but you hear that classic
Legally-
sound.
legally
of the time
distinct
machine
DeLorean.
going through. Yeah, it's got the little fins on the back, but it's like what is it, like a hybrid of something, you know, like a not a Tesla, but it's something
Right.
along those lines. And then it's Christopher Lloyd, and he pops out. And he's like, Josh! And he's playing his character. He's like, wait, are you Doc Brown? And anyway, he's like, yes. And he's like, you know, so the whole thing rests around the Michael J. Fox Foundation, you know, for what was it?
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
You know, he said, you know, they were going to auction off a DeLorean, you know, movie screen DeLorean, you know, for his foundation. And Doc Brown has the paper and it's got him, Josh Gates, and then he's like, it's starting to disappear. And so he's like, you've got to go find this car. So he's got to go find the real Christopher Lloyd, who's playing Christopher Lloyd.
That's,
Christopher
I mean,
Lloyd as himself.
Yeah, the other Christopher Lloyd was Doc Brown.
that
That's
actually
Christopher Lloyd.
sounds interesting, unlike the Julia Roberts playing Julia Roberts in Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
dog shit.
Yeah, right.
So the whole series is them two trying to find like the original, you know, screen done DeLoreans and see if someone can donate one of them to them so they can get it to Michael J. Fox. And it's a fun little series. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching.
Where is it streaming?
You can find it on. I'll get back to you on that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Tell me by Tuesday
It
and I'll
might
put
be
it on the
on Max.
post.
It actually might be on Max.
Tell me by Tuesday.
Yeah. So when you get it after this, we'll look on Max real quick. Cause I know it's either Paramount Plus or Max or one of them.
I have
So-
Max on my phone. I can look that up.
But yeah, so that's what got me to thinking about it because he's talking about iconic cars, and so I'm like, oh, that's interesting because
That was
like,
literally the first car that popped into
yeah.
my head.
And that's what a lot of people think of. They're like, when you think of movie cars, immediately the DeLorean pops into your head.
I mean, Ecto 1's a really good one. The one Gavin said, I'm sure was good.
The bat plane,
Yeah, the Batplane. Yeah,
whatever
sure.
one he said over
Good.
there.
I
that
want to
guy.
say it was called. I think it was called the Batwing, maybe.
Batwing.
Batwing, yeah.
I think. Remember, and I had the toy.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love the original, like Tim Burton, the Roadster Batmobile that he had. He had the tire on the front and had like a V17 or 18 engine. It was longer than all of us.
Well, and that's the thing too. That's like they say, like that's one of the most recognized cars out there in
Yeah.
film. But then, is there any others you can really think of that have made like history?
The
Herbie.
ship from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty. What was the name of the ship?
I know the AI is called.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember,
HAL,
Yeah.
I
the
remember
HAL
the AI,
5000. That was
but
that
I
was
can't.
the AI.
I can't remember the name of the ship that they
Was
were.
it the Odyssey? Maybe?
Yes.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was the
Yeah, I
Odyssey.
think it was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
I believe that's what it was,
Um,
but we can find that out later.
But I mean, there's a nerd shirt that.
Real collective knowledge going on right now.
Right. But it has all these spaceships that are on it. So there's like an X-wing on there, Millennium Falcon. There's the spaceship from Firefly. There's the TARDIS.
Serenity.
Serenity. There's the TARDIS from Doctor
Who.
Who. And there's several of the ships from Star Trek on there.
Yeah.
And that ship is on there too. So it's like all like leading down. Oh, I think maybe it was in the shape of the Millennium Falcon, but all the other ships as they were going, like you could lean in, like when you got closer, they had the individual ships that you could see on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
So it's really neat. I remember seeing like on Facebook Marketplace or something, some kind of ad coming up. I was like, oh, I want to buy that, but I don't want to wait for it to get here from China. So, especially now with just all the tariff crap.
I'm going to throw a name out there and I want to see if you guys can name the movie it's from. The Nostromo.
That sounds really familiar.
Alien.
Yeah. Okay.
It is the
So say-
spaceship with
that's-
the original alien.
Okay.
And the AI was Mother.
Yep.
Which the AI basically, I think except for the third one.
The third one, she's on
Oh, the
the
third one,
sex
yeah, she's in
British
prison.
planet.
Or
She's
not
in
not
prison.
not that one. Alien Resurrection. The ship
Oh, the
AI
one-
was called Father.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
That's the
all
one
the-
that just came out, right?
No.
Oh.
That was
That
like
was
the
a while
last
back.
one with Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, okay.
That's when I think it's like 300 years.
If you remember,
later.
in the prison one at the end, she jumps out
Yeah, she
into like the
dies.
fire lava pit.
You're
and the
assuming
alien
I
comes
finished
out.
that garbage ass
Well,
movie.
I'm telling you what
they
happens.
they end up
pops out.
they end up finding out. Well, like at the end of it, they tell her that it's a queen that's growing inside her, and that's why the company shows up to take her back. So she's like,
Yeah.
I can't. She doesn't want to release it back to the company, so she takes her own life as it's coming out.
Yeah, she's just holding on to it.
Nice.
Making sure it
she
doesn't go
falls in,
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Alien 3 is garbage. Don't watch that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I mean,
I don't
Resurrection.
want to say it's the worst one because Prometheus exists, but I mean,
Resurrection
it's
wasn't
pretty
that
bad.
great either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Resurrection, the ship AI was father.
Oh, okay. Very
But
nice.
what else? What other? Well, you said Herbie.
Yes.
What other cars can you think of? What other ones come out and pop out in your head?
The General Lee
Yeah.
Oh, the
from
generally-
Dukes of Hazzards.
I love the movie. Like-
So you know that's Broken Lizard that did the movie.
Yeah.
With,
They were
with-
the campus cops.
Uh-huh.
Yep. No, I just love how the fact
Well,
that they,
Farva's in there too. He's the guy wearing the armadillo helmet.
yeah. And I love how they just get rid of like the racist undertone from the show, and they're like, "Hey, screw you, asshole!" I'm like, "What the hell's everyone?" And they look on the roof like, "God damn it! Why would
yeah.
you do that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "You goddamn piece of shit! I don't want this on my car."
Well, see, because it's old school stuff, I think of like Christine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's a good one.
You see that car, and you
And
So-
there
freak
was
out
like very
immediately.
little special effects in that movie too.
Yeah.
That it was. I think they made that for
It's
a small
almost
budget,
like the script
which
was
is-
written
it was
by
all-
an award-winning novelist.
It was all practical effects, and if you remember
Yeah.
in the scene when it's repairing itself, I believe how they just did that was just played it in reverse.
Right. Yeah.
They filmed.
Yeah. They filmed the destruction of it, and then they just
Yeah,
rewound. Yeah.
rewound it basically.
It was a '57 Bel Air, wasn't it?
something, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had the old rocket tips on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Well, there's a movie called, and I know I've mentioned it before, but it's called The Wraith, and it's with Charlie Sheen, and it was from the 80s, and
Oh, before,
it does not. It,
oh,
it's one of those-
go ahead. I was about to say before he got coked up, but I was like,
Yeah.
he's
No,
probably
he's probably
on
there.
coke back then too.
But
But
the-
before it took over.
the movie doesn't really
Before he got
hold
Tiger
up in
Blood.
terms of like, now you watch it,
Right.
you're like, but the car at the time was like, they made like this high tech looking thing and all this stuff, and it basically almost looks like what the new Tesla truck things look like, only a car version of it.
You got to show him that meme. You just you showed
Oh
me.
yeah. So it was a Tesla, and I can't remember what the car is next to it, but
It
it
looked
was
like a Toyota Sequoia or something.
It was a Toyota. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but like so the Tesla beside it, and it said PlayStation 1 graphics, and then over beside it with the car that actually had detail on it, it said PS5 graphics.
Oh,
It's like they could have done like Lara Croft.
Yeah.
PS1, and then like just
Angelina
done, and
Jolie.
then just done Angelina Jolie next to it, PS5 graphics. Sticking on that real quick, there's another meme that I saw, and it's like this guy, he's laying in bed, and his girlfriend is like, trying to live out a fantasy for him. So she comes around, and she's dressed in the outfit of the like original Tomb Raider outfit, and he's sitting in the bed. He's all it's like, no, that's not what I want. And then she just kind of lays her head down and walks off. And she comes back in, and she's got like triangle boobs. And he's like, yes.
That's what I want.
It's like, yes, now come to Papa.
I remember back in middle school, everyone's uncle worked for Nintendo, so they had all the codes.
Oh, yeah.
But none of them worked.
Nope.
Because nobody's uncle worked for Nintendo
One also
in New York or Florida.
Also, a lot of back then, like a lot of times, the game was like so shaky because they couldn't do any updates to it like live. So sometimes if you put the cheat code in, it would mess up your game. Like the coding would stop. The game wouldn't work right. It's like, yeah, you got cheat codes and infinite ammo, but
It doesn't work. Well, another one that we all know, it wasn't the fuel for the movie, but it became the recognizing vehicle, no pun intended, for the movie, the Ferrari in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows that car.
Kit from Knight Rider.
See, I was going to bring that up, but
Dodum.
it's not a movie. That's
Well, they made a couple TV movies.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. The black Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit.
There you go.
There you
Everybody
go.
knows that.
Mhm. I even know that one.
And the truck with the snowman.
Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond.
Yep.
Yep.
And then when Pierce Brosnan took over, they got a contract with Jaguar, and I was like, no.
No.
You
Back
keep-
this up.
Yeah, Aston Martin just came up with a Vulcan, and they're not willing to put that in your movie. No. You put James Bond in the Aston
You
Martin
put
Vulcan.
that in that movie. You do it now.
So again, for me as a kid growing up, and still to this day, I absolutely love this plane. But the F-14 Tomcat from Maverick.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Top Gun.
I mean, they did bring it back in Maverick for,
They brought-
for a second.
Yeah, they did.
That's how they got
he
away.
was flying. Yeah, that's what he was flying at the very end. Was because we sold 100 of them to the Russians
Yeah.
and the Saudis probably. I can't remember who else bought a bunch of them like 4 or 5 years ago. It's like we decommissioned this, right?
There's a reason why.
Maybe we sent them over to Ukraine. I don't know. I know they got a couple of fighter jets that weren't they were basically decommissioned or no longer in our active in our Air Force or Navy.
Well, there's one I'm surprised you didn't mention, Patrick.
What's
the,
up?
The Oldsmobile from Evil Dead. Evil
Oh,
Dead
yeah.
2.
And when it was
Army
a
of
Doctor
Darkness.
Strange.
Yeah. Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, it does make an appearance. Anything Sam Raimi. I really want to go rewatch the old
Is
Spider-Man.
that Sam Raimi's car?
Yeah.
It's like he owns it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his car.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like. He needed something for the set when he did Evil Dead. He's like, yeah, just use my piece of shit car. Throw that over there. It's even in the remake.
Yeah.
So the girl's sitting on the hood of that car when they. First
I think it's gone over a couple of renditions of
yeah.
love.
I think it. I
It's
think
had a little love put back
Sam
into
Raimi's
it.
worth a few million, and it's like, you know what? I love this car too much.
This is now a tax write-off because
Yeah.
it's in a movie.
Well, one super duper one that was throughout the whole movie of this one movie is the Blues Brothers. The Bluesmobile.
Oh yes, it's
The old Dodge.
It's an old cop car. It's got cop suspension, cop brakes,
It's a model.
cop power steering.
It's a model made before catalytic converters,
Yeah.
so it'll run on regular gas.
Yeah.
What about one of the greatest Mustangs to grace the silver screen, the Shelby GT500 from Gone in 60 Seconds? That was his unicorn.
I don't know.
Unicorn.
I kind of like the Shelby GT40 in Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, damn, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Because that was way before. That's when the first one.
Yeah, that was the first
That was
Ford
the first
GT.
Shelby.
Yeah.
That was the first Shelby. And I was kind of talking about that movie with my dad because he really liked it. And he said, like there's a ton of historical accuracy in there because Carroll Shelby did put up his company
As leverage.
as leverage to Ford when they were going to Le Mans to win it.
And look what happened.
Yeah. By the way, just to
Little badge on the Ford that says Shelby. That's an extra 35 grand.
What's funny, and I don't know if you've gotten to see the movie. It's on, I think it's on Prime and it's on Plex too.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yes.
It's on the Plex.
So when he gets in with
For the record, it's on our Plex. I don't know if it's on the main Plex.
Yeah.
Mr. Ford gets into the car and he's like, "So, sir, are you ready for this?" He's like, "The symbol in the center of that steering wheel should let you know that I am." And then he takes off and he like starts crying. And I can't remember the actor's name, but he's like talking to the execs. He's like, "This is usually when the uninitiated soil themselves."
I don't know how true it is, but there's apparently an old saying that Henry Ford used to say, like, you can get my car in any color you want as long as it's black.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, he was a
Probably
real
were
piece
right
of
now.
garbage, wasn't he?
That was and
Oh,
that
no, that's all they were. They was simple.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have.
No, but I mean,
they
he
didn't
was
make
like Carnegie and
jobs.
Rockefeller. Like, he he did not give a shit about his employees.
well, that's true, but also like the genius of Ford was their ability to make the conveyor belt system to mass produce
Yeah.
vehicles.
So everyone thinks that Henry Ford invented the car. No, the car was
No.
around for like 50 years before. He just invented the assembly line to make it more affordable.
He was able to make more of them cheaper than anybody else.
Yeah.
At the time.
He invented the assembly line.
And
That's
there
what-
was like, in that scene at the very end of like the drive, it is a beautiful scene where Henry Ford Jr. because the whole movie is like him getting pit against Mr. Ferrari and like how like the rivalry because at the beginning they were going over there to buy
Does Schumacher make an appearance in this movie?
who?
The famous Formula One driver,
No.
Joel Schumacher?
No.
Who drove for the Team Ferrari
No.
for God knows how long?
It's centered all on Ford
Oh,
and
okay.
like their process of building that car that could compete.
The
at Le
Ford
Mans.
GT. For the record, that car cost $250,000, and it's like an extra $10,000 to make it street legal because it does not have like indicators or anything like that. If you just buy one,
So
it has brake lights just so the other Formula One cars doesn't ram into it.
Well, they had to design on this one because it's not a Formula One car. It's still a what can be a street legal car, the Shelby GT40, but they had to design the downdraft on it to make sure that they could still turn, and like the race at Le Mans is 24 hours, so like they had to work out how are they going to keep the brakes. I don't want to get all into it, but it's wild like how they built everything on there. Like they tested and tested and tested to like make everything last for that race. That was it. That was all it was designed for.
So I don't follow it too closely, but I do like Le Mans racing and Formula One racing. And what really interesting to me is the physics behind these cars.
Yeah.
There's a story.
Formula One cars basically have that front nose wing, so they don't fly off the top.
Yeah.
It's
Like
designed
if you
to
remove
keep
the
it
engine,
there.
you could just pick that thing up.
Yeah.
It's all fiberglass.
If you revved it up and that wing wasn't on, it would just flip over.
Yep. There's a famous story where Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver, he drove for the Lowe's car. He had a pit chief. This is insane to me. He lowered the angle of degree on his rear windshield by 11 degrees. It was almost microscopic. You couldn't tell, but that gave him so much more downforce on his rear wheels. He destroyed whatever. I think he was at Talladega. He just destroyed everyone else, and no one can figure out why. And it's apparently because his crew chief cheated. Because every car has to be built to the same specifications.
And that's the thing is like that's called stock car racing. So everyone's on the same playing field.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Le Mans race, you could bring in whatever the hell you wanted. And in there, that's when they first started introducing that wedge on the system, on the suspension of the car, being able to adjust that, up and down. It's a much different tool. That they use now, but back then, like that's where they had that to where you could adjust for how hot the day is. If it's raining, you have that adjustment that you can make in an instant. You don't have to rebuild the car around it. So they like started that ability to be able to adjust on the fly.
It's like your golf club where you can move the weight.
Exactly. I can add loft to mine if I want it.
Just got this little screwdriver.
yeah, they don't cost much at all.
Yeah. As much as the car.
Right.
You paid what, $2,500 for your driver?
No. I paid probably $2,500 for the whole set.
Oh, okay. That's good.
The irons were $2 and the driver was $5. $500.
Yeah.
For the back record, Christine was a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
I saw that.
So I'll pull it up. I was like, I got to double check.
I think you and I are on the same webpage.
Grease Lightning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Are we
the
gonna?
car that took down.
I was gonna say, are we gonna explore
gonna
the
see.
fantasy at the end of
where it flies up?
maybe they're really dead and
No.
they die in a car wreck at the beginning of the movie.
I'm not
and the rest
getting into
of it
those
just
fantasies. That's a crazy fantasy world.
a little
I do like that
conspiracy
theory, though.
I did like from Transformers, the live action one. That was when Chevrolet unveiled their new
Camaro.
Camaro.
Yep.
Exactly.
It was a concept.
And
car.
it was the old one at the beginning, like a 85,
something like
87,
that.
something like that. But yeah,
Which still had a monstrous amount of power. But then
And-
Megan Fox like, why does it turn into this shitty-ass Camaro?
well, when I was listening to some of the backstory on while they're making it, and they were like, I think it was something like a $2 million car, or something astronomical that they lent to the movie. So they're like driving it around. They're like, so how are we supposed to shoot this thing with a car we can't scratch or ding? But we got explosions and stuff going everywhere.
Yeah, you don't want to hand that kind of car to Michael Bay.
Yeah, right. Like you're loaning this to a Michael Bay film. Come on.
Have you seen my movies? We kind of blow stuff up and wreck cars.
This isn't going to be around any pyro. No pyro. Some explosives, but no pyro.
A lot of TNT and gunpowder.
How do you feel about squibs?
So there's a show called Supernatural, and they drive a 79 Charger, 4-door. Oh, it's gorgeous. But they had 3 cars on set at all times. One where it was pristine and worth, still at this day, about $80,000. And then they had 2 more. One was a little dinged up, and one that they used for when they rolled that car over at the end of every season. Like, it was just destroyed. Like, yeah, it still runs, but it looks like dog shit.
That was like the Dukes of Hazzard. So in their film, they had, I think they said like 7 or 8 cars. Like there was the one that was like the everyday driver, but they had other ones like because when they would send it off those ramps to make the jumps, the suspension after it landed would just shot. It's like we didn't want to keep rebuilding it. We just went ahead and bought 8 cars.
You gotta love it when you get an actual budget for a movie.
Yeah, right. What are we gonna spend this on? I'm gonna need 14 of these cars. One's coming home with me.
This is an '87 Honda. How dare you?
Yeah, employee of the month. You had a brand newish Kia.
I love Dak Shepard's line though. Like, this is an '87 Honda. How dare you? And he's trying to sell it to like his employees. Like, you said it rolled over twice. Well, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah. You find something with this low miles, buy it.
Don't think. Buy. Well, most movies they'll do that if they have like a special car. They'll have multiple screen versions for it because obviously things can go wrong.
Yeah.
And that was also another funny thing about that series that I watched where they were looking for the DeLorean, and eventually they find these guys and they're like, well, these guys have owned 3 of the original screen versions. So like, oh great, we're gonna go check them out. And so they owned 3. One wasn't there. They ended up going to this place, and it was in a different museum or another place, but it was owned by these gentlemen, and it was the car from the third one where it had the box thing on the top and the white wall tires, and they're like, this isn't the one we want. They wanted the Mr. Fusion, basically this one from like at the end of the first movie, beginning of the second movie. So like, well, they own 2 more. So they go out to them. These guys are like, yeah, it's basically a Back to the Future mausoleum museum type thing. Like, these guys have multiple rooms. They have a barn, and like anything you can think of from the movie, they did replicated the whole original scene of the movie with all the clocks. So with the coffee maker, everything down to the little toothpicks and garbage on the table, like it was exactly. I guess they watched that scene multiple times and recreated it. But anyway, regardless, they go and he's like, all right, we do have another one though. He's like, you have 2 more though, and he's like, yeah. So they go in. And of course, he shows, it cuts to a commercial right when they get a reaction. They open the doors. Well, when they actually get in, it's just the middle section of the car. Mm-hmm. So, like, where the seats would be and everything. And they're looking at, like, up on this thing, and they're like, what's this? And he's like, where's the rest of it? He's like, oh, no, you said this was a screen use. He's like, it was. It basically was the one that was on the hydraulics that they would do the close-up scenes. And if they look into the window.
Right.
He's like, we didn't need a whole car for that.
Yeah,
so they basically had that portion.
The part where the flux capacitor was, like all that, the engine's in the back anyway.
Yeah, so it was just to look into when they're driving and talking inside the car. So then they had the third one that they had, and they looked and they brought in the barn. He's like, they opened up the barn, and it's just this destroyed DeLorean. Well, it ended up being the one that the train ran through at the end of the third movie. When they got destroyed, they basically kind of put together what they could. So anyway, that made me think of it, but. There's like, I think they said like 7 or 8.
Fun fact, they're remaking the DeLorean.
There is a car museum that's over behind.
Yeah, it's up near Mainlands.
It's like in that little
Candy
industrial
19.
park area that's behind, like where what's that, like the Valpak building is or something.
Yeah.
And they have a DeLorean there.
Oh, do they?
I don't think it had any on the screen time. They bought one.
I always wanted to go into that place.
It's
always
really
see
cool.
it. I've never been into it.
They have a lot of
we were driving the DeLorean. We got up to 88 miles an hour. I saw a flash. I'm pretty sure we're in the past, man. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's a private collection, so most of those cars they either raced and several of them were raced at Le Mans or Formula One. So there's most of them are all foreign. There's a couple of U.S. like old school like 60s and early 70s Mustang and Camaros, but most everything else is from overseas collection, either Italian made or European.
Nice. I do have another car to talk about real quick, but did you know Jay Leno with his vast wealth? He collects old
he's
cars.
a huge collector.
Yeah, I've seen like interviews where he would just tour his garage and.
Well, he's got a show about it.
Yeah.
He had a show about it.
What was it? Comedians and Cars or something like that?
That was
No,
Jerry
Leno's Garage, I
Seinfeld.
think.
Oh, Jay Leno's Garage.
I think that's what
Comedians
it
and Cars Getting Coffee. That was Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, that was Seinfeld. Where he drives around
Well, he does one with
Jay Leno.
Leno, and they're just cruising.
Yeah. But no, he's his collection is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's a big gearhead, so I think he just pays the $1.5 million that this car is worth and just says, "Yes, please bring me that."
Yeah, I don't think he fixes them up, but I think he knows enough about it. Like he knows where the value of that is. Yeah.
Yeah, so if he goes to that auction, I've seen it on TV all the time. If he was to go to, like, not paying that for that.
He's not a mechanic to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not looking. He's looking for a finished product.
Although he did play a mechanic in Last Man Standing.
Oh, that's right, he did.
Oh yeah,
And he would help Mike and Larrabee, because they would buy restore cars and flip them. But he did work as mechanic for Outdoor Man after a while.
nice. But the car I wanted to talk about was the dog washing van from Dumb and Dumber.
The Shaggin' Wagon.
Yep, the
The
Shaggin'
shaggin' wagon.
I just remember when I was seeing that, we was like, "What the hell does that car look like? Why does it have a face?"
It was a dog.
Yeah.
It had the floppy ears on the side and everything.
Yep. Which has to be wildly dangerous.
So from the shaggin' wagon, it took me straight to Family Guy. It's like Quagmire gets a Winnebago, and Peter's like, "Oh, hey, that's a nice Winnebago." And Quagmire's like, "Oh, or as that call it, a Winnebago." Hey, that's right, because Stewie and Brian take it on a road trip. I think they're trying to find. That's when like Stewie comes back in time, like old Stewie, and so they're going to try and find him in San Francisco.
Is that the one where they're like driving out west and he takes like
Yeah.
a bunch of trucker pills? He's like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I got these pills and we need to go west, so we're going west." And he's going through
Yes.
like the middle
Stewie's
of the
eyes just like,
Yep.
fine. It's like, where are we? It's like, did we stop? Nope, just kept driving.
We're going west, so we're driving west. He's going through like the middle of the desert between
Oh yeah,
Las
that's right, 'cause he
Vegas and
doesn't
LA.
even- he didn't even get off. He's just driving through the desert. It's like, we're making good time.
And what about Winnebago's, speaking of stripes?
Yes. Yes.
The military assault.
Oh yeah,
There's
the recreational vehicle.
Recreational assault vehicle. The old Winnebago.
The old Winnebago.
What about the Wonder Bread car from Talladega Nights? I just got done rewatching that movie.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it better when they put the cougar on it.
And also Kenny from 30 Rock. He's like, everything she just said, you just made worse by showing up. But I remember just before he gets to the crash, like he puts advertisements on his windshield. He's even driving, and he's like, "This is wildly dangerous. I cannot
Yeah.
see." But I do love me some Fig Newtons.
If you don't shoot Big Red,
Then fuck you. That movie is so good.
So now let me ask you this. Going back to, like, obviously one of the most iconic cars that we'll say in movies is the Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's easily recognized. If somebody said to you, you could have any one Batmobile throughout the movie series, out of all the, regardless of it's Nolan's,
yeah.
Burton's, whoever's.
Yeah, whoever did Val Kilmer and George Clooney movies.
Well, that was Joel Schumacher.
Okay.
So, but I'm just saying, I'm not going to name every director for every movie, but which one would you take?
There's a special place in my heart for the one that Val Kilmer drives because it was a little bit more modernized, and you got the blue underlights and you got the blue lights coming out the back,
Yeah.
but they still kept the Tim Burton flame that comes out the back. It's got a little bit of like, not bigger but more angled like bat wings on the back. I really do enjoy that one. I actually had a toy of that one as a kid,
Okay.
and actually lit up. It was badass. I mean, it was a toy car, and a man in now my 40s does not understand why I would want to play with that.
I've had the privilege of seeing the one of the ones that Adam West drove in the Batman series.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always kind of liked military style vehicles. When I
So
was
you
a
like
kid,
the Tumbler?
I do. I love the Tumbler, and as a kid, I always wanted a Hummer. As when they released them to the public, it's like, oh, I want to be able to buy one of them. And then even back then, they were like $50,000.
And
like,
even back then, it cost you $100 to fill up that gas tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you hate the environment for buying it.
Yeah. But before gas was $3 a gallon, it cost you
get about
$100.
500 feet to the gallon.
Yeah, right.
but it does have like 1,000-gallon gas tank, so it's huge.
There's an old Robot Chicken sketch where they do Macaulay Culkin movie where he's a millionaire kid. What's his name?
Richie Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
They do a Cribs episode with Richie Rich, but he's kind of like a little asshole. He's like, check out my monster truck limo. It gets 10 feet to the tank, and then he starts it, and then just like rolls like
Stops.
Yeah.
They did another one, like there was like a joke of Cribs. It was a stormtrooper, and so they go through his house, and he's got like all this stuff. So he's got like this big cool painting on the wall. He's like, yeah, did you see this right here? Yeah, it's one of the last remaining art pieces from Alderaan. We were out there after the Death Star blew it up. There's just shit like this floating up out there. And then he goes over to another room where he's got like a little shrine. He's like, yeah, that's my cat Starlight. He was on the Death Star when it went.
Starlight.
And then he goes out to, he's got some like little single engine like prop plane outside, and it's got all these little X-wings on the side of it. He said, yeah, this is my ride for TK427.
The only stormtrooper name you can name.
Yeah, right.
What about? I'm gonna let you guys see if you can remember the name of this car, but the one from Kill Bill, the one that she steals. It's a truck, yellow.
It's the Shaggin' Wagon,
No, that's.
wasn't it?
There's a wagon is involved.
Is it a Volkswagen?
Nope,
Stabbing Wagon?
nope. So it's a yellow truck and it's got bright pink lettering on the back. It says something wagon.
Buck wants to fuck.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Kill wagon? I don't
I don't remember.
So she steals it from the orderly who's like raping comatose patients.
Yeah, it's Buck.
It says pussy wagon on the back.
Pussy Wagon.
Yeah. Everyone, like, she saw the key ring and she's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And then she goes to the parking garage, it's like, well, I found it.
So you go Tumblr, huh?
Yeah, I like the Tumblr.
Tumblr.
I mean, besides, it had, well,
And you like the light up one.
I do.
Michael Keaton's one did have missiles and guns on it.
Yeah.
That's
But it
what I
also
was
had a
gonna say.
tire
For
on the
me-
front.
For me, I like there was something about maybe it's because I saw that movie when it came out. From seeing the Adam West one, which I love that car too. I mean, that thing is just it's beautiful in all its glory.
Right.
But there was something about okay, this was the first time you got to remember not being minus Superman, the first time comic movie was really well done on a big screen.
Yeah.
Besides Superman, that was really well done. But just when you see that moment and that car comes out, there was something about it. It was almost kind of like the beginning of a. It felt even though they didn't last nearly as long, but like the opening sequence to the original Star Trek: The Motion Picture when they're flying around the Enterprise for the first time for like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
which was unnecessary.
Right.
But it was kind of felt like that. You see all this. It was just the sleekness of it, the fact that it was all black.
Yep.
You got the turbine from the original one, so like, oh, they kept this, but it looked just so cool, man. It was just like,
because that front nose was basically supposed to be like that jet turbine spinning.
going
Yeah.
through, But there was just something. It was sleek. I mean, obviously not conventional for regular street
Right.
purposes or anything like that. Like, and trying to
I
pull
think-
into a parking space.
I think the
like,
Adam
forward.
West one was basically the only one that was like
normal,
street
human-
practical.
Yeah.
except for the newest Batman movie. The
Oh, yeah.
Batman
That was
movie.
like a 79 Camaro or something like
yeah,
that.
whatever they turned it in. I mean, as far as practical regular
Yeah,
car
yeah.
type driving, but
I mean, it's not really iconic, but the Punisher with Thomas Jane, he
Okay.
had that monster of a muscle car. Was only in the film for not, but it's just it didn't make the movie. Thomas Jane made the movie because that's my favorite one. Just shouting that out.
Was that a Charger?
I think so, yeah.
68
Or Challenger, something like that.
I don't think it was a Challenger because the Chargers were much more popular back in the day. Challenger was not.
Yeah,
It was a very limited release for them.
but
Now-
yeah, but that car is like nothing but
Oh.
steel and iron. This is old
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
That's why they needed the Hemi to
Yeah.
to move
Yeah,
that tank.
The 4.0 Hemi.
Yes.
now I do have two to bring up. One of them, I'm not gonna say. I mean, it's iconic to me. You two will probably really like it too. But it really wasn't in a movie that long. But the Pork Chop Express.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was thinking
Big
that.
Trouble in Little
I was
China.
thinking that.
Although I would say it's like not a lot of people know that. Right
Because
Yeah.
on the front of the very beginning of the movie is the only time you ever see it
That's
hauled
what
in a
I'm saying.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then they go to the back alley when they see the ninja fight. I think that's the last time you ever see it.
Yeah. Well, except
No.
they find
there's
it later.
several, yeah.
They get it later because remember he's like my truck. That's my truck.
That's right,
here," 'cause
yeah.
They open up like that.
Oh,
warehouse
yeah.
thing.
When they finally escape.
But it really wasn't like a driving force to the movie.
No.
But I would still say that. But here's why I can't believe I didn't mention this one earlier. Didn't think the car from Tommy Boy.
Oh yeah, the Mustang.
The GTX? No, it wasn't a Mustang.
No.
It was a GTX.
And that's the one that had his
That was David Spade's car.
Right, in the
David Spade's
deer.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the deer basically destroyed it.
Yeah, the whole movie. I mean,
Yeah.
the car's in the whole
That's
movie.
true,
It just
yeah.
slowly got destroyed, bit by bit.
And they're just driving down the road, and the thing comes up.
There's a car. There's a movie and then a remake. The remake stars Robin Williams, and the remake's not bad. I didn't mind it. It's from the late '90s, but the original one was from the '60s, I think.
Are you talking about Flubber?
Yes. So I remember the original more than I remember the one with Robin Williams. But, he creates this material, this goo that you just do anything, and he loves it, but he makes an engine out of it. In the original, he puts it into his old Ford Model T, which makes it fly for some reason. And they do the same thing in the ending of the one with Robin Williams, but I think that one is a 60-something Chevy.
But
But
they have to adapt to the time.
yeah. But I mean, I think they kept the distance right. Like in the original one, it was a 20, 30-year-old car, and then in the remake, it was a 20, 30-year-old car. But I think it makes one appearance, and it's at the very end, like where they just like rise up from below camera, and like, what the
What the hell?
Well,
Damn it, Bobby.
I mean, this probably isn't. I think it's iconic, but it's very ending. The Wonka Vader.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Go sideways, left ways, right ways, anyways.
Any kind of ways you want.
The glass elevator that shatters the glass ceiling and doesn't
exactly.
shatter itself.
Yeah.
And that whole scene is iconic because it broke the glass. Anyway,
It broke. I understood the metaphor.
I was just making sure.
Well, it was iconic because he pushed every button except
Except that one, yeah.
Yes, Gavin.
Well, I mean, you could say that if you want to use Willy Wonka. What about the Wonka boat?
I was gonna say and the car that they got into, the root beer car.
That just stretches and
Yeah.
then it's like back to normal.
And there's
for
no way to know which way that we're going. That's like the one scene in there that almost makes Willy Wonka feel like a horror film.
What old
That is
movie
a
makes Willy? Yeah, everybody dies.
I mean, they
they
don't
don't.
die.
They don't say it, but they
He
die.
didn't die.
I don't. Could you take her to the juicing room?
That one kid that got sucked into the chocolate river. Oh, he's dead.
No, he didn't die.
And no.
They should have get him before he went to the what was it
The melting
floating-
facility.
the
He
melt facility.
he was going to the forge. That's
Yeah.
where he
No,
was
no,
going.
no, that was Veruca.
That was Veruca, yeah.
Veruca went down the egg chute to.
He was like, I think we only have that one running every Tuesday and Thursday. It's like something like that. Yeah.
like garbage days.
I think we turned that
Yeah, but
off.
Gene
on
Wilder
the-
is like, I wonder what day it is.
Yeah.
Oh well.
What day is it?
Doesn't
And
matter to
moving
him.
on.
I know we have to wrap up, but
Yes.
real quick, the Jeeps from Jurassic Park. They are iconic in that
Yes,
movie.
I will say, yeah, because there's several of those that are in there. Yeah.
Especially the one that gets pushed off the bridge by the T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
It lands on the train, like, run, go now, faster, faster.
This time.
The T Rex. Watch out for the T Rex.
Always gotta watch out for them damn T-Rexes.
And they're colorful. They're colorful and bright.
Yeah.
The cars, not the T Rex.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a little bit on the dull side. Nothing but brown and gray
Well,
everywhere.
that's that's
and
dinosaurs. What do you
and he
want?
likes to eat people that poop.
And I'll
I mean, to be fair, that's just people.
because I did mention it a little bit, and I've talk about these movies all the time. But the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I was trying to stay away from
Yeah,
that. 'Cause,
yeah.
low hanging fruit. I mean, sometimes is worth picking, but I mean, come on, man.
I mean, it's one of the few that are in like the prequels, excuse me, not the prequels, but like the fill-in movies and
Yeah.
and the latter movies. So it's
Squeakles.
the squeakles. Thanks, Alvin.
I mean, they did make a whole movie about Han Solo getting the Millennium Falcon,
Yes, they
which I genuinely enjoyed, but I'm one of the few people.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I didn't
But it-
dislike it.
It
but
got a
really
lot more
wasn't
hate
needed.
than I thought it deserved.
Well, I mean, I think because it would come out, as they started the sequels, which were dog shit.
Yes.
But
But
they-
before we get into that
Yeah.
anger,
They-
which
yeah.
we've already
they
heard
do
that.
retcon
We're gonna leave that anger for episode 47 or whatever we did.
They do retcon the Kessel Run. Like,
Yeah.
how do you? But
They
that's
do.
that's not a time thing.
I know,
That's a distance.
it's a distance, not a time. Damn it.
And on that note, we'll talk about the Kessel Run next time.
I mean, I could pull out a math spreadsheet.
We can do that later. We're running out of time.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
But that is all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much for joining us talking iconic vehicles in movies and other random talks, as it normally happens. We
we definitely didn't get sidetracked.
If you could send us an email, let us know what your iconic vehicle is, because there's hundreds and thousands of them out there.
like the one from Thelma and Louise. We didn't talk about that one.
Yes, then indeed as well.
And so when you send it to us, we'll talk about it next time. But until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrano.
I am Gavin Bunch.
I'm in my 40s. I mean, Patrick Wall.
All right, guys, take care.